Football Update. It's with your host, Sean Spencer and Alex Loosemore.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is your boy Sean Spencer. I'm with my guy, host of Restoring the Roar, Mr. Alex Loosemore. What up, Alex?
Not too much, man. Glad that we're in the swing of things. I mean, obviously, NFL just started this week. We're just about into conference play for every conference now.
Yeah,
and we're right in the thick of it now.
Oh yeah. Starting to get back to having to sweat on the weekends and go through multiple overtimes. So excited! Yay!
You just get extra football. You get free football.
Exactly. I'll take that. And the funny thing is, there was a number of multiple overtime kind of games in his first couple weeks, and it's like, oh, okay, I kind of like this scenario. But yeah, we definitely have a lot of that going on, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to College Football Update, which is just a Tuesday show. We're going to bring you just a couple little storylines, recap of Saturday, and our game balls. So let's go ahead and get into it now. We are starting with our college football storylines and the blockbuster story that came out actually on Sunday during the NFL games. Mel Tucker suspended indefinitely and possibly fired from MSU over the sexual misconduct allegations. Alex, what are your thoughts? I'm going to bring Kat in here in a little bit. But what are your thoughts? I mean, just off of hearing this.
I mean, for me, it's really wait and see. Because, I mean, you hear the immediate story that comes out, and it disgusts you.
Yeah.
But then you hear his response in how they had been in kind of essentially a relationship for a couple of years, and then it kind of hit a rough spot, and now she's coming out about all this stuff, and it's just like, who do I believe? Who do I not believe? There's so much just kind of tossed at you in the last 48 hours that it's just like, whoa, okay, like what's going on here? What's really going on?
Oh yeah, and have them hit right in the middle of the NFL Sunday, and it was such a blockbuster announcement. It just made you wonder, like, wow, where did this come from? You know what I mean? Was there any hint of this? Was there any kind of, anything that might have led people to believe, wow, okay, this is something that's going on? Like, I don't believe this is in his history.
Not to my knowledge, but it seems like the school's been kind of looking into this for a few months now. Like, it seems like it's something that the Spartans have been investigating for a while. And now that the news just kind of got made public, now everything's happening. But yeah, there's still so much up in the air. Like we saw the whole Pat Fitzgerald situation at Northwestern, where it was you kind of got a little bit of info, and then it was just bam, it was everything. So I'm waiting for that like hammer to drop and everything comes out, and then we're like, okay, wow, this is the real situation. So I think we're kind of waiting for that point right now, to be honest.
Yeah, that's just got to be rough. That's got to be rough. I mean, obviously, their team is actually looking good, but for this situation to come out, and I'm not gonna lie, the first thought that I had was, he has that 11-2 year off the back of Kenneth Walker, and then all of a sudden you getting this huge payday, and then you ain't really succeeding. You're not fulfilling your part of the deal, at least not up to standard. And then it's kind of like, are they trying to recoup? Are they trying to be like, oh, let's put this stuff out there? Because the way that he responded is kind of off. Kat, you want to come talk about it? Yes. Here we go.
First off, I heard what Sean said. I'm going to be real. Like, I've only read a little bit about it because, like, work. That comes first.
Yeah.
But I will say this as a Spartan. It's like when I first heard about it, I'm just kind of like, oh, okay, is this real? Like, meaning, is this like really something that happened? Much less like, I didn't want to, like, for me, I don't like to just jump to like this person's guilty. I wanted to like know the facts. Like, I wanted to hear both sides. But to me, like right now, it's like a he said, she said type thing. And I'm not saying this because I'm a Spartan. But if you look at both sides and both statements, and I guess to me, I want to wait before I like pass judgment, which I know we're all guilty of, like, especially like as a Spartan or like University of Michigan, like, oh my gosh, hardball. But like, that's why I even told Sean, I don't usually do that because I don't want someone doing that to me. That I want to know the facts, because right now it says like Mel Tucker is saying, like, it was consensuous. They've been friends. It became romantic. She'd send pictures. And like, for me, it's like, I'm all about like Me Too and making sure these things don't happen. But I also am aware of, because of Me Too, now you have people that will be predators. So, I mean, we really don't know which one is the predator here. And I'm not saying it's either one, but I think part of the hype, I don't want to say hype, but part of why it was such a big story and that it was produced, like it was, everyone's finding out this in the NBA, like, I'm not NBA, but NFL, is because of Nasser, because of our history of sexual harassment with what happened with, the women's gymnastics. Although, like, as I've said to Sean, yes, he was housed at our university, but he was not just working with the university. He was part of the Olympic team. He was the Olympic team doctor. But I really think that that's part of the issue with it, is it ties to things that have happened in the past. And our school, they don't want to have any type of connection with that, especially after what's happened with the gymnastics. So I think that that's why they're so quick to be like, all right, we're late, like, you're going to be let go. They are going to give him a trial, but like, for me, I just want it to be a fair trial either way. Like, Sean already knows, D'Antonio fan. I'm not against Mel Tucker, but I told him, I really wonder if this is more of hey, this is one way we can get rid of you. You cost too much, and you really haven't done it as much as what we expected. Like, I know Sean and I had that conversation, but that's really that was the first thing that went to my mind is, oh, they want to get rid of him. He costs too much. The second thing
and this is the way they don't have to pay him anything.
Exactly. And then the second thing was mainly the he said, she said, like, I don't want to like sit there and place blame, But you know what? I appreciate, I didn't hear what you said, but I'm hoping you said something like that, or were there some fighting words? What's your thoughts?
No. I just said that right now, I mean, obviously the first stuff that came out, it was like, oh my God, that's horrible what he did. But then it was like, then he came out and said his piece. And then it's like, okay, now that we've got the differing things, let's wait and see what actually happened. Because like you said, he said everything was consensual and that it built up to that. And then they stayed on the phone after that happened, and she didn't have any issues with it then. And that was months ago. And she was texting him months after that happened, which was still like June, July. So, I mean, there's so much there to unpack. And I said, just like the Pat Fitzgerald situation, we just got to wait for everything to be laid out on the table before we make a judgment.
And like, for me, I'm really interested in seeing the texts that are going back and forth, because like I said to Sean, and I'm just sharing this, like, if I'm interested in somebody, and I'm not someone that does this, but I'm just saying, a lot of women, if they're interested in a man, they'll send those kind of pictures. And like, to me, if you're sending pictures like that, that's confusing to a man. Like, that's like, to me, and I'm not saying that it's okay for him to then act upon what he did, but at the same time, to me, it's like, okay, but it was over the phone. Like, maybe I guess you know what I mean? Like, although I know that's very demeaning, especially if that's not something you want. I mean, any of the women out there, like, I'm not saying it is okay at all, but we really don't know what happened. We were like, we weren't in the room where it happened. That's the key thing. We weren't in the room. Well, all right, I'll see you though. Oh wait, I want to hear what you said.
Okay, I was gonna say, the reason I'm mainly interested to see it all out on the table is because if you look in Tucker's press release, not only does he say that she says stuff about him, but it's stuff about the assistants, and she throws Harbaugh in there as well. So that's why I'm just like, I wonder what she's referencing about everyone else when she's possibly trying to throw Tucker under the bus or actually saying Tucker did this. There's a lot to unpack here. And
definitely.
I'm wondering when it'll actually all get out.
It's interesting. I mean, I'm curious about the same thing. And I appreciated being able to at least read his statement. Only because for me, I like to be able to hear both sides. However,
Absolutely.
if they find him guilty, that's not okay. And you know what? We don't need another situation like that at Michigan State. That shouldn't be happening anywhere. And if it is the situation, then maybe other schools will follow by what our lead. And this, like I said, we really don't know, but it's just, I don't want that tied again. That kind of thought to my team. All right. Anyway, sorry, I'm talking. Sean's like, Cat. I'm like, well, it's the Spartans. I can go on and on. Go green. I know you guys can go white. Let's do it.
No, go blue. Go blue.
I didn't hear that, so go green. Bye.
See ya.
Sorry.
Oh, man. Yeah, buddy. That is my fiance, Cat Hughes, Michigan State insider, talking about it. And we will see what happens. We'll definitely bring you back that information. But look, let's stay right in the Big Ten. Somebody that is very closely connected to you guys and Michigan State, Ohio State, still in the QB competition. I know McCord was finally named the starter, but everything that they're doing doesn't really give off that we're comfortable with this. This is just a decision we're making. What do you think?
To me, that situation that they just did was very similar to Michigan last year, where you had McNamara and McCarthy both playing lots of each of the first two games, and then they came to that conclusion after. So this was McCord and Brown both played close to a half each in both games, and then they came to the conclusion that McCord was the guy they wanted to run the show. And I figured he'd be the guy. To me, he was the better of the two. But it was nice to see them finally name somebody, because there's that old saying, if you got two quarterbacks, you got none. So
zero, right?
Hopefully they can finally get this rhythm going, because that offense has been pretty slow still. So hopefully this allows them to kind of get some rhythm, some flow, and some consistency.
Yeah, and I mean, to their credit, Marvin Harrison Jr. got the ball early and often. I think he had his first four catches, he had a couple touchdowns, over 100 yards. Straight balled out. So I mean, that's the key. Whoever's going to be behind center, you need to get the ball into his hands, and it looks like they did that. But we're going to see how they go when they actually face stiffer competition, and see how that does. All right, man. Let's go into the updated top 25. Week 2 is here. Let's see what we got. Starting at the top, you see Georgia, Michigan 1 and 2. That stays the same. Florida State gets up to 3 with Texas at 4 and USC at 5. Ohio State's out of the top 5. What do you think about that? That top 5, top 10, Bama down to 10? What do you think, man?
I personally thought Bama should have dropped a little bit lower. There's a couple teams sitting right below them that I like over them that are undefeated. Alabama has that loss. To me, Tennessee, Utah, Oregon are all they all realistically should be above Alabama. I understand why you put them at 10, but not my cup of tea, particularly with the way they've played the first 2 weeks here. As for the top 5, that 4 is perfect right now. Those, to me, are the 4 best teams in the nation right now, and they've shown it. SC, I like them less than the 2 below them right now, particularly because they still don't have a defense. To me, I'd go Penn State 5, leave the Buckeyes at 6, and move the Trojans down to 7, maybe even 8. I might like Washington over them. I might like Notre Dame over them. So SC is kind of in that. I mean, 5's okay for them, but they could be as low as 9 as well.
Yeah.
So that 5 through 9 is all kind of crammed together, in my opinion.
Oh yeah. Now and so I agree. I think Washington should be higher. In my opinion, it goes Washington 5, Penn State 6, and then you have USC, and then you have Ohio State. Because it goes back to what you said before. Ohio State, if you have 2 quarterbacks, you have none. And I don't think anybody's really separated themselves, even though they picked the starter. We know Aller. He's there in Penn State. We've seen what he's doing. They got that 2-headed monster in the backfield. Washington is really, I mean, they've been smoking teams. I want to see them against Pac-12 and then, stiffer opponents. But at the same time, man, the way that they've been doing it, it's like they've been leaving no doubt. And I really feel like they need to be up in that, top 5 or 6 best teams in the land. But yeah, for the most part, I see where we're at. Let me ask you this: Notre Dame at 9. So I love what they've done. They've gotten multiple victories. Hartman looks good. Estime looks good. But then when I look at these other teams, Washington, Penn State, Texas, Florida State, I feel less confident about Notre Dame. Like, what do you think?
Well, to me, Notre Dame at 9 isn't necessarily a bad thing because if you look at those teams above them, they're going to have to play 2 of those teams. They're going to have to play USC and they're going to have to play Ohio State. So if they want to be a team fighting for that playoff spot, they got to beat those 2 teams anyways.
Yep.
So having all those teams kind of crammed together isn't a bad thing. I do think they're a step above Alabama, Tennessee, Utah, Oregon, those kind of teams there. I think they're a step above them. And kind of in with that other kind of 5 through 9, like I was saying before. I think there is a step down from 4 to 5, though.
Yeah.
I think those 4 right now have kind of separated themselves. You can make an argument for Washington, make an argument for Penn State being up with those other 4. But right now I feel like it's those 4, and then another group of 5, and then another group of 5 or 6. And then, I think it kind of starts to kind of separate. But Notre Dame being at 9, clumped in with the teams they're going to have to go through, I don't hate it.
Yeah. So it puts everything in front of them. You know what I mean? So you see what the road that you have to go through to get that kind of recognition. And hey, it's all in front of them. I love that. And with Hartman there, I like that. I like their potential and their opportunity.
Yeah.
All right, we got Tennessee at 11, Utah at 12 without Cam Rising. That's going to be interesting. Oregon, who got out of a squeaker against Texas Tech in a very good game. They showed us. Yeah, right. He did. They had a lot of grit. They had a lot of grit in that game, and they showed me something on a very sneaky Texas Tech team because, like Alex said, Texas Tech and the Big 12 are sneaky. They're sneaky good, man.
Yep. I was like, there's no way. Like, they'll smoke them, and then I was at the CFL game in Edmonton here, and I'm like just peeking at the scores as we're going, and I was like, oh damn, like that. This is like a legit game. Like,
wait a minute. Wait a minute. I actually watched that game back yesterday, and I was like, dang, this was really good. Back and forth. Texas Tech was leading. Then Oregon. I mean, it was a solid game, man. So shout out to them. Then you got 14 LSU, Kansas State, Oregon State, Ole Miss, Colorado moves up to 18.
I don't like that one.
That's what I'm saying. So, I'm glad you said something. Where is your head right now? Because I love all the things they're doing. I love the excitement. But where in the world are we getting it? They're jumping up to 22nd. Now they're at 18. I'm like, really?
Yeah. And I mean, you look at those 3 teams below them. I think Oklahoma smokes them. I think North Carolina smokes them, and I think Duke beats them as well.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Colorado they don't have a defense. They have a very good offense, but a bad offensive line. With North Carolina, the pass rush we've seen the first couple weeks, North Carolina would eat them alive. I'm going to say that right now. Oklahoma can go toe-to-toe with them, and then it's really whichever defense shows up first. I like Venables in that defense a little bit more. And then Duke, the way they've played, Duke beats them. I think Miami beats them.
Yeah.
Washington State is a maybe. UCLA is a maybe, and Iowa's a maybe. But the way Iowa's defense is playing right now, I think Iowa could possibly take them too.
Exactly, because Nebraska's offense was shutting them down in that first half. Iowa's defense. Nebraska's defense was shutting Colorado's offense down. And Iowa, they're known for defense. We've seen what they did this last week against Iowa State. So I totally agree. Any one of these teams under them, I believe, kind of has the advantage. But at the same time, hey, everybody's doubted him. We said we didn't think he could do X, Y, and Z, and he's done it. Hey, let's see. Maybe it's working. Maybe it's working.
I think right now they deserve to be in the 21 to 25 range because beating TCU, that should jump them up pretty high. Yeah. And then holding on against Nebraska, who's not a top 25 team, but that's still a pretty good football team. Yeah. I think they should be, I would say, like 22 to 25, kind of in there.
Yeah.
But I think really what this is setting up for is to have two highly ranked teams, not this Saturday, but next Saturday when Colorado plays Oregon.
Oh, very true. Very true. I could see that happen.
Game day was already chosen for that week.
Ooh.
They chose Baylor, who's winless, against Texas over Colorado, Oregon, and I believe the other one is Notre Dame, Ohio State.
Wow. Oh,
I think that's the other massive game that week that they chose over it. But yeah, I was like, that is not a smart choice in my opinion. Why
would you do that?
Box office wise, you get Dion and what Colorado's doing against Oregon. I understand that part, but there's just certain games that need to be in that place.
Exactly.
And what do we got? We got UCLA, Utah that week as well. Oregon State, Washington State, Florida State, Clemson, Ole Miss, Alabama, Colorado, Oregon. There's just so many. Arkansas, LSU.
Jeez. Yeah, it wasn't the best move on their part.
Ohio State, Notre Dame, Iowa, Penn State, UCF, Kansas, North Carolina, Pitt.
Oh, wow.
Those are all games that should realistically be that over Colorado, Oregon. Is that going to be a fun, entertaining game? Yes. No. But realistically, it should be Notre Dame, Ohio State. That is the marquee game that weekend. And that's what I'm going to guess they're going to get. Attention. Yeah. Well, and I was going to say they'll get the big noon kickoff, but they're a night game, so they won't get that. That's an interesting one. I don't understand the move there personally.
Oh, no. Not at all. Not at all. And then to round out the list, you said 20, North Carolina at 20, Duke at 21, Miami at 22, Washington State at 23, UCLA at 24, and Iowa at 25. Alex, I've seen some, if not a lot, of all of these 25 teams. And honestly, I like this list. I think I could say this is the best 25 teams that I've seen. On the coaches poll that you see on the right, you see Colorado's at 21, and you see Clemson is at 22. They are not on the AP poll in the top 25.
Nor should they be.
I just don't trust what I've seen from them.
At halftime against Charleston Southern, that game was in question. That should not happen if Clemson's a top 25 team. That game should be over by halftime.
Yeah. Man, I don't even trust them in the ACC right now. So, we will have to see. But, we are going to move on. That was definitely talking about our top 25 in these storylines. Hey, we saw there's a number of games this weekend. We're going to hit up our college football scoreboard week 2 recap. Hey, talk to me about Michigan. I saw you guys got the dub. Corum running the ball nice. How you feeling about them?
I feel this was exactly what I expected. We got that running game going. That's why we only scored 35 points. Just kind of controlled the clock, imposed our will, and it was nice to see Corum get going again. He had a 3 touchdowns, 15 carries, 80 yards, so 6 yards a carry. Was impressive to see. Donovan Edwards is still coming along slowly. So I hope he kind of picks it up. But it was nice to see Quorum go well again. JJ's still on fire. Only 3 incompletions on the entire day, 22 of 25, 278 yards, and another 2 touchdowns, both to Roman Wilson again.
Okay.
So Roman Wilson has 5 touchdowns on the year.
Wow.
That's the number 1 guy right now.
That's the guy.
That's the guy JJ's most comfortable with. The offensive line looked better this week. I thought they kind of struggled early against Eastern Carolina, but again, a lot of new faces. I think it's 3 new guys on the starting 5. So it does take time to click. They looked a lot better on Saturday, and this defense is still playing lights out. This is arguably probably a top 5, top 3 defense in the country. I know we haven't really played anybody, but there's so many guys at all 3 levels that are getting it done. I mean, Jalen Harrell right off the bat had a couple sacks in the first quarter. Junior Colson is leading that linebacking core beautifully. With a mix of like Mike Barrett, Ernest Hauschman, like they're rotating other guys in, and it's all going well. And that secondary looks awesome. Keon Sabb, a guy, he was a 4-star recruit last year. We stole him from Clemson like right near the end of signing day. Oh, nice. And he's just gotten into the rotation because a couple of the safeties ahead of him were hurt. So he got to start the last 2 games, and he's played very well. I love what I'm seeing from this defense, too.
I can dig that. Oh, yeah. Hell yeah. Who you guys got next? Is it?
Bowling Green.
Oh.
Sharon Moore is the head coach, and then we get Harbaugh returning for Rutgers.
Oh, my goodness. Good old Bowling Green. Oh,
it's nice to kind of have, like, the 3 games where I can just, like, kick back. Like, we had to leave early to catch the train for the game on Saturday to go to the CFL game. And got to watch the first half, and I was like, yeah, I don't got to worry about this game. It's over. Good. Like, I can just – I'll check the final score when I get to the stadium. Like,
wow. Must be nice. Okay,
it doesn't last too much longer, but
I had South Carolina last week, and then the daggone pesky App State this week. We can't seem to shake these guys, man. Last year, we know there was the monument, 63-61 ball game that came down to the wire where they had a 40-point fourth quarter. And this year, I think that's been the theme. That's been the thing. We have got to play better on defense. And to our credit, we played a lot better on defense. But I think one of the biggest things that I wanted to see this year, because obviously the microscope is on Drake May. Everybody's looking at him. He's already openly projected by all the commentators outside of not just you and I, but everybody. He's the number 2 quarterback off the board, yada, 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 right? So I want to see how he does in that. And by the numbers, it's been kind of mediocre. Both games just over 200 yards, having a couple touchdowns. He has firm control of that offense, and I love it. But one of the things I loved about this is one of the things that's been hidden because of the Drake May love is our running game. I talked to you this year about Amarion Hampton. He showed up a little bit in that first game, and this game he went off. Definitely one of my game balls, over 200 yards, 3 TDs, including a touchdown in overtime. Basically, it took us 2 overtimes to get this done. So, Alex, yes, I was sweating again this year. But, hey, we got it done. And we're showing resilience. It's really nice to see, Mac Brown get these guys up for these games because with everything that happened with Tez Walker, shout out to Free Tez, my guy, and not having him, we really are kind of looking like it's really like who's wide receivers? Wide receiver by committee. Like, who are we going for? J.J. Jones had over 90 yards. Kobe Passor had, over 70. So these aren't guys that I'm not familiar with. So I love that he's distributing around, but I really love that we ran the ball. Got another W. We go and play the Big Ten next. We got Minnesota next week. So it's going to be a ground and pound. Yeah, I want to see that. I want to see that one, man. Any other games this week that really caught your eye? I know you were out, and as was I.
I mean, there's a few of those kind of later ones. The big ones we talked about going into last week. I mean, Alabama, Texas. I was so glad to see Texas pull that one off. Also, really disappointed by the Alabama fans. I don't know if you saw that clip of the guys like right near the sideline. there were some Alabama fans. Some of the Texas players were kind of celebrating on the sideline. Yeah. There's Alabama fans yelling, "Go back to the projects," and saying some other obscene words I'm not going to say here. And just really, really poor character by some of those fans. Yeah, I was really disappointed by that. And I mean, good on the Texas players. They just kind of looked over and just kind of kept doing their thing. So good on them not to react and just kind of keep it classy. But was really proud of Texas in the way they did it and handled themselves, and really disappointed by Alabama. More so their fans than the actual team. The team handled it well. But yeah, that was really disappointing.
Wow.
Ole Miss Tulane. That was a really good game as well.
Yes. Yeah.
Very good game.
Absolutely.
Those were kind of the two I was looking at.
I kept an eye on the game that we both talked about when we were talking about the coach's hot seat, Miami and Texas A&M. I looked early that Texas A&M was going to get it done. I think they jumped up 10-0, but then Miami hit a couple nice passes down the field, and then all of a sudden this thing turns into a rout, man. Van Dyke and them went off. So Jimbo's the one that got the L, and it did not look pretty. At least if it was close, maybe I could say something, but I mean, they got
two scores,
yeah. So that's kind of frustrating to see for him. So we'll see. I definitely paid against that. I also Cincinnati versus Pitt. I wanted to see that one because we know how Pitt is. Narduzzi, the old Michigan State coach, as their head coach. Man, we know they have stout defenses. And Cincinnati put up 66 a week ago.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I was trying to see what they brought, and hey, it was a game. It was a great one. Cincinnati comes out on top 27-21, man. But that's definitely one that caught my eye for the most part. But yeah, man, I mean, there was a number of them, man, and I know you guys all saw them as well. But we're going to keep this thing moving because, it's just a short and sweet tonight. Want to give out our Week 2 game balls. So, Alex, who is your Week 2 game ball?
So my first one, I was talking about that Texas-Alabama game. I got to go Quinn Ewers here.
Oh, yeah.
24-38, 349 yards, 3 touchdowns. I mean, I've been on the record multiple times saying if Quinn Ewers stayed in that game last year, I think they rout Alabama last year. And he stayed in and played very well this year against Alabama. So, yeah, you go into that stadium, beat them on their field and play that well, you got to get a game ball.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I am staying home. I'm going to go homer this week. My guy, Omarion Hampton, 126 carries, 234 yards, 3 TDs, including a TD in overtime to help us get the W. Like I said before, so much attention on Drake May. I wanted to really focus on that running game, make sure that we could take some of the pressure off him. They were playing deep, too deep in quarters coverage on us, trying to make sure bracket the receivers, make sure we couldn't really go deep. So the running game had to do that. That was the only option we had at certain points in the game, and I really love that it opened up like this. And shout out to Omarion, man, true sophomore. Let's see if we can get this going out throughout the season. Watch out, man. That running game, man. We need that. We need that. All right. You got anybody else?
I got one more here. Another game we just talked about. I got to go Tyler Van Dyke, man. This guy looked so good. And looked like the Tyler Van Dyke from a couple years ago where we said if Cristobal and them coming in can get that Tyler Van Dyke out again, then Miami was going to be a problem. I mean, 21-30, 374 yards, 5 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. The kid balled out. He looked awesome. And, I'll say like we were saying before, if you can get this version of Tyler Van Dyke on a consistent basis, Miami's going to give a lot of teams troubles.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. And this is what we expected. So we got to see it consistently. My second game ball was for the first night of the weekend. The first game Thursday night, last Thursday, Louisville played Murray State. Obviously, it was a blowout. But Louisville, I mean, has been struggling a little bit last couple years. You know, Cunningham was in there, but he had injury issues. So to see them really skunk them like 56-0, that was huge. Really got everybody involved. But Jahar Jordan, running back, 7 carries, 135, almost 20 yards a carry. Okay, man was running all over the place. 2 touchdowns, also had 2 receptions for over 40 yards. I mean, this guy, you really, honestly, in this game, you could pick any number of different guys, from the quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers. A lot of people had big games, but this guy kind of stood out to me as just, I mean, they couldn't stop him. They couldn't stop him. He was going all over the field. Every time he touched the ball, it was like lightning. I mean, he was just getting out of there quick. So, yeah, Jahar Jordan of Louisville, shout out to them. They are 2-0 early in the ACC season. So, yeah, buddy. We're close to the end, but real quick, just like Mr. Dan Campbell, we were rugged, we're rough. Never go for one, always go for 2. Yeah, buddy. So going for 2 this week, I will start. Honestly, I said this the other day. I've said it multiple times. Make sure you take care of yourself, your mental health, your body, your physical. And when I say take care of yourself, I mean take breaks, take naps if necessary. Take that time so that you can recharge your battery. Just like we recharge our phones all day, we need to recharge ourselves as well. So take that time out for yourself, man. Alex, what you got, buddy?
For me, kind of along the same lines as what I was saying about those Alabama fans. I'm going to say something about those Green Bay Packer fans. Don't count your chickens before they're hatched, because I don't know if you saw the clip last night of there was a bar in Wisconsin that the Jets lost. The bar would pay everyone's tab for the night.
Oh, wow.
When Rodgers went down, they all celebrated because they thought they were getting free beer for the night. So they all just racked up the tabs, went heavy, and then the Jets ended up winning, so they all had to pay their tabs. So it was karma's a you know what, and don't catch your chickens before they're hatched.
Wow. Yeah. Oh, hey, and let's do it. It's a college show, but whatever. Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you that do not know, when we were on, actually, myself and Janae were on, when you told us that Aaron Rodgers went down.
Right after you said that stuff about the Jets.
Right after I said it. Real uneasy about that, because we found out this morning that he will be out for the remainder of the season with a torn Achilles.
Yeah.
I feel bad.
Well, you shouldn't necessarily feel as bad, because I saw a clip from Barstool earlier in the day.
Yeah.
And it was a Jets fan on there. And he's like, man, this, like, the last time I was this excited about the Jets, it was after they had just made the AFC Championship game. And first game, Vinny Testaverde tore his Achilles.
Oh, no.
And the one guy, the main host guy, was just like, don't put that into the ether, man, because you never know what's going to happen. And bam.
Man. Wow.
Yeah.
So, hey, best wishes to Aaron Rodgers. At the end of the day, I want you to get better, buddy. But from here on out, it looks like it's the Zach Wilson show.
Yeah, they're trying to contact everyone they can to get a backup. I know they've contacted Wentz, Foles. Who was the other one? Chad Henne was the other one they called up.
Wow.
Asking if he'd come out of retirement because he's got familiarity with the OC Hackett from their time in Jacksonville.
Damn. Well, there it is. That's how quickly it happens. Injuries happen, and then all this stuff just goes done. So, hey, look, we got to get out of here, ladies and gentlemen. This has been just a quick college football update. My guy, Mr. Alex Loosemore. I'm Sean Spencer. Alex, Restoring the Roar. You got that going on tomorrow?
Yeah, tomorrow night, 9:30 Eastern. 9:30 Eastern. We'll recap the Thursday night game and preview Sunday against the Seahawks.
I can dig it. I'm excited to see that one. I know you're gonna be excited on that one.
Oh yeah. Especially the way Seattle looked. I'm chomping at the bit.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, man. Oh, there's more questions. Are the Rams back, or did Seattle really not that great?
Yeah, a little bit of both, I think. But
exactly. Yeah. And hey, for the record, Dallas isn't that good. The Giants are garbage. Let's go. Let's go. All right, people. We're out of here, man. Have a good night. Stay tuned. Let's Talk Football. The roundtable is coming up. Should be coming on right now. So we'll see y'all later.
College Football Update. It's with your host, Sean Spencer, Alex Russo.